Africa. The things that you see here, not even 5% is compared to the reality on the ground. The real power and the miracles, the visitation on the grounds is so enormous that it cannot be put in weights. Last year, it was so amazing. We were in another village called Namitete, where there are hundreds and hundreds of villages, and the glory of the Lord was all over. I actually saw with my eyes hundreds of people that were brought on the stretcher. These were hundreds. These are people, most of the people that you see giving testimonies are just a few people that can afford to come to the front. But there are people that come on stretchers that most of the time they are outside the tent. These are hundreds of people that are outside the tent. They cannot afford to come to the stadium. But I actually saw with my eyes, after Brother Teo had prayed a prayer, that these people would rise up on their stretchers. Not even a single person would still lay on the ground. These are great, great miracles and great visitations. And I remember a crusade that we had in Area 25. This was the first time for me. I'm interpreting Brother Teo. And so they brought a dead woman. And so I was so concerned because I want to protect the gospel. I want to protect the man of God, but you know you cannot protect God. You can't protect the gospel. The gospel has the power to protect itself. And so here I was, Brother Teo is preaching, and I'm interpreting for him, and they brought this dead woman on a stretcher. And I wanted to stop them, you know. But Brother Teo said, Brother Tom, let them bring her. And they brought this lady on the podium. And Brother Teo stopped preaching just like it was in the days of Jesus. You know, in the days of Jesus, Jesus was being interrupted in the midst of preaching. And Jesus could stop, administer to the person, and then keep on with preaching. These are the things that most of the time Brother Teo would do. There are times, as I'm interpreting for him, he would send me to somebody crippled. When I say crippled, I mean you've never seen such crippled people with twisted legs. But there are times that Brother Teo would say, would you go to that person and tell him to walk? And I get courage and boldness, and I come to that person, I say, the man of God says walk. And I've seen those people jump up and begin to walk in the midst of the preaching. And so when they brought this dead lady on the stretcher, this was in Area 25, the first crusade that we had in Area 25, that I saw this lady rise up in our very eyes, and the whole crowd was in tears, and the glory of the Lord hit the ground. When these miracles were taking place, all the villages, people were running, coming to see that which was happening. And I just want you to encourage you that these are great days that the Lord is visiting Africa. This is a great, 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 great visitation. I am so blessed. I am so happy that I can be alive and witness these things. I want you to know that it was God's program for Brother Teo to focus to Africa. In the year 2003, that when I was in Uganda, in a country called Uganda in Africa, that borders with Kenya, somebody came to me and said, the Lord will send his servant to your country. And he said that will be the beginning of revival. And so when I flew from Kampala airport to Lilongwe airport, I saw a white man who was stranded. I didn't know who he was, but he looked so worried. And so I felt in my spirit that I needed to talk to him. When I went to talk to him, I asked him, what is your name? He said, my name is David. I said, you look so worried. What's the matter with you? He said, I was supposed to fly to Zimbabwe, but I hear that the flight has been cancelled, and I don't know where to go, and I don't know what to do. So I said, all right, would you mind if I take you to my house? He said, all right, let's go to your house. And so when I took him, he said, all right, before we go to your house, can we go to a nearby hotel that I should phone my wife in the States, that instead of being in Zimbabwe, I'm in Malawi. So I said, all right. So we went to the hotel. Guess what happened? The people that he was supposed to meet in Zimbabwe, he met them in Malawi at the hotel. This guy was Jewish. He said, you know, Brother Tom, I never believed in Jesus, and I've never believed in miracles, but this is the first time in my life that I've experienced a miracle, and for sure, this is a miracle. Little did I know that that guy was a journalist who wrote about my story, and then some guys contacted me, and finally, Brother Teo phoned me personally. He said, Brother Teo, I want you to fix a meeting for me. He said, don't fix a big meeting, just put up a meeting that 1,500 people attend in a hall. And we fixed up that meeting. That was the beginning of a great revival. It had to take the Lord to cancel the flight, so that God knew this guy was going to be there, and God canceled the flight, and God brought him to my house. And it was through this guy that the Lord connected us to Brother Chao, because God wanted Africa to hear this gospel. God bless you all.